A very good evening to all my wonderful champions out there. So today I'm really excited because I am going to make you meet a wonderful friend of mine. His name is Gregor Mendel, my dear children. But the question obviously might be coming to your mind that why should we meet your friend, ma'am? What's the reason? Is there something special about him? The answer is yes, because he did something that most of us do not. And I'm not talking about genetics. So those of you saying that, ma'am, you're going to say that he's the father of modern genetics. No, that's not the answer. That's not that only thing that he did and we didn't do. The answer to this question lies over here. He didn't give up. Most of the times in our lives we give up. You guys, I know when I was at your place, okay, a teacher scolded me and I was all sad. How could that teacher think of me like that? I study all the way, all night, and then the teacher says something like that. Okay, I have actually, scored really less marks in physics. Oh my God. What will I do? Will I be able to do better next time? I don't think so. I'm not that capable. This is what we usually think. Each examination that passes away or each comments that comes to your ears, my dear children, it makes you think that I should just probably give up. I'm not really good at it. But you know what? The same thing happened with Mendel also. There were so many people who said that, no, Mendel, you cannot do it. Oh, Mendel, you failed again. Or how will you manage the expenses, Mendel? The answer to all this question was his, will to not give up, my dear children. So he was not from a well-to-do family. He was from a very poor background. Still, he went ahead. He studied with whatever resources he had. And you know what? He actually gave certain examination. He wanted to be a physics teacher. He gave certain examination and he gave it twice. And it required a lot of money out there. But then twice he failed, my dear children. Why? Because he was a person who studied by himself. There was no one else for him to get taught by or things like that. So with this situations going on, my dear children, life led him to some other, scenario. He actually became a monk, okay, and when he became a monk there in his monastery, there was a garden out there. A big garden out there. So he was like, probably with the knowledge that I am having, I am really good at mathematics. I'm really good at all the other aspects of it. Let me just try putting mathematics into biology. And then, my dear children, he went ahead. He went ahead, and for how many years? Let me show you that. For straight 7 years, from 1856 to 1863, he worked on garden peas. The garden peas I usually eat, no, with sabji as like food and all. Okay, he experimented in that for 7 big years. 365 days into 7 years. Can you think how, long his journey might be? And you know what? The saddest part of it is that he did a lot of studies, okay, and after some point of time, he died. He was not recognized for the things that he did when he was alive. But then later on, when you say no, when you do something good, that would be recognized in some point of your life. And the same thing happened with him as well. After 1863's thing, my dear children, the point after so many days, after so long, he died as well. And long after that, 37 years later, 37, my dear children, just imagine, when you say a 37-year-old human being, how it's a drastic change, right? So 37 years later, 3 people came into picture. One was Karl Correns, other was Enric Westermarck, and the other one was Hugo de Vries. These 3 people came up in the year 1900. And they said that guy, Mendel, did some amazing work out there. Without him, all this thing that we are doing as of now could not have been possible at all. And that's when he was recognized as what? The father of modern genetics, my dear children. So it was not at all a small deal. You think of our body is so complicated. We do not know how do I look like this? How do you look like this? We have no idea about it. But there was a person who barely started experimenting on pea plants, and now, my dear children, with the clues that he gave, we are able to know almost, what do you call, at least 50% about us, our body as well. And that's a big story, right? And I'm pretty sure, my dear children, you also, okay, if you ever think that my day didn't go well or my exam didn't go well, the teacher said that, the teacher said this, I am not appreciated, my friends do not talk to me, or whatever the things that happens in your life, my dear children, whenever you think you're down, just have one thing in your head, that is, you are not gonna give up. So we are going to be what? The Gregor Mendels of our life, right? And we are gonna study a lot of things about what happened in all those 7 years where he did an experiment. My dearest little children, even though it's a story, but let me tell you, these years are really, really important for you to remember. So 1856 to 1863, 7 years. Those 7 years are really important because it is usually asked in all the, what do you call, the competitive examinations out there. So make sure you remember it. Cool. Now, going ahead with what we have for the day. So basically, first of all, I thought that I'll just directly jump into the theory session which is there. I'll talk about the monohybrid cross, the codominant session, dominance and all those things. But then I later realized that this chapter is something new for you. Okay, you might have studied in your 10th grade. I definitely agree with that. But there are so many things that come up as a new thing for you guys. And it's not very easy to grasp all of it in. Which is why I thought the first session which is there should be lighter session. Okay, I will be introducing you to certain terms of genetics which is very, very important for you to understand. If you do not have the base, my dear children, would you be able? So, if the gardener do not plow the area properly, will you be able to grow the plants out there? No, not the good plants. Weeds would be growing. Okay, the weeds which are there, the unwanted plants, they would be growing, not the wanted plants. So over here, I want the good plants to grow as well, which is why the base should be clear, and I am here to make your base really, really strong. In the next session, we will be talking about monohybrid cross, dominance, codominance, multiple allelism. In next session, we will talk about dihybrid cross, linkage and recombination, pleiotropy and polygyny. In L4, we will talk about sex determination in organism, the disorders that you see in organism. And in L5, we will complete the NEAT and the KCET PYQs. Now, I want one thing from you, and that is what? To click on the like button right now if you think that you are really excited to study this chapter and I am good at what I am doing, okay, that I am able to teach you from the basics, or you are understanding what I am trying to teach. So in any of these scenarios, what you have to do, click on the like button right now. And as I told you, today's session is going to be really light, not too long. Okay, it's going to be very short, just the major topics out there. But I want one help from you, and that one help is a kind of a homework thing from you. Okay, that is homework number 1 for you today. Please let me know what are the portions coming off from this particular chapter in your examination right now. So I hope everyone have your FA1 examination, whatever you call it. You have your unit test, okay, or probably you will soon have your midterm examination. If at all you have got your syllabus, okay, for the nearest examination that is going to come, please put it down in the comment section so that I get an idea that Jasmine, probably you might have to teach this also over here itself. You can make a long video, but please include this. So this gives me an idea, and I want your help in that. So please make sure you're doing that from your end. I'll be really, really happy to help you out, which is why I'm telling you. Okay, so those children who are asking for the revision session and things like that, I have an answer for you. But before that, let me tell you, this chapter is very, 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 very into 1000 plus important out there. For KCET, it gives you 4 to 5 questions straight, okay. For PUC examination, 13 marks, and that is not at all a small deal. And if at all you want the notes for the session, please join our WhatsApp channel. You can get the notes over there. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel for getting all the updates. Now here I have my cute little champions out there who gave me the answers for all the questions that I asked in the previous session, and that was about the NEAT and KCET PYQs. So whenever I solve question, I see that people are not watching it very much. But whenever there is theory, whenever there is understanding, you're doing it. But let me tell you one very important thing. If at all you are just listening to me and not practicing it, when question time comes, it's a very, very, bad sign. okay, of preparation, because you should know whatever theory you have studied, how to put it into action, into what do you call questions. These are the questions that mess around a lot of things in your life. So make sure you're practicing it in every question session. I want you to be there. Okay, and I have some good little champions out there whom I love, what do you call, the most. Okay, so whom will I love the most? Those who put the efforts for me as well, who talk to me, okay, who put down the comments like this, who, what do you call, click on the like button, who tell that yes ma'am, you're doing good, who motivates me as well, so that there should be someone to tell me also, no, Jasmine, please don't give up, right? I am already obviously saying that to myself, but I want to hear that from you guys as well. Okay, so make sure you do that. And my dear children, over here I have Sagar, who said that he scored 30 on 30 in the test that was there, and I'm really proud of you, Sagar. Kudos to you. I have Manasa, who very religiously put down the answer for all the questions with the question number, with the answer. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for participating really well. Super proud of you as well. Now we have Marudesh Gowda. So the first time I saw Marudesh putting down a comment out there, I have seen you in the live sessions, I've seen you, what do you call, in the live comment section, but never in the comment, in the actual video comment section. So it's a kudos to you as well. You have done great. All your answers are correct. I checked it up. Okay, awesome. And we have Manvita with the same consistency. Every single video I see her commenting down the answers, and it's an awesome thing out there. Sagar has also, apart from what do you call, saying that he got 30 on 30, he had given me the answer for all the homework question. Kudos to you. And Sagar has been asking a question from a long time now, that is, ma'am, first quarterly revision, quarterly revision, please do, ma'am. So the answer to this question is, we are going to start the revision sessions off from the next week onwards. From Monday onwards, you will have your regular revision session for all the subjects. So day by day, we have some days assigned on which we would be coming there and giving you a proper revision. Please be there. Make sure you are utilizing this. Okay. So are we ready? Chalo. Now going ahead with the homework questions that I asked, let me answer it first and then we'll go to the basics. So first thing, medical termination of pregnancy is considered safe up to how many weeks of pregnancy? I asked this question, the answer is 12 weeks. It's only safe up to 12 weeks. Beyond that also you can do. You can do up to 24 weeks, but it's not safe. Now, which one of the following statement is correct with reference to a test tube baby? So fertilization of the egg is effected outside. Does the fertilization occur outside? Yes, in vitro. That is what you mean by test tube baby. So that is, fertilization is happening in the laboratory condition, my dear children, and then later this fertilized egg is placed in the womb, or what do you call, the fallopian tube, where the gestation period would be completed. So your answer is A, not any other options. Now select the incorrect statement about contraceptives. So they are regular requirements for the maintenance of reproductive health. Wrong. That is not a regular requirement. I, being a normal human being, I do not need a contraceptive out there for my reproductive health. No. Not needed. It's not a regular requirement. Only when you want to contracept a pregnancy, that's when you would be using it. It's not a regular requirement. That's a wrong statement. And please be sure you read this particular statement. That is, the possible ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer should not be totally ignored. So these are the side effects that could be happening because of contraceptives, and people usually, because we say you should be using contraceptive, we generally forget this line which is there in the NCERT. Please not forget, contraceptive definitely has the possible ill effects as well, and these are the ones. So that's not a wrong statement, it's a correct statement. Okay, you had to find the incorrect one, and that is only this one. Now in India, the action plans for family planning were initiated in the year 1951, already taught, and you got all the answers correct. That's what I believe. And now going ahead with today's session. So don't think that ma'am wasted 13 minutes time for talking random things. No, Gregor Mendel's part was equally important. So please remember the year 1856 to 1863, 7 years he worked. Okay, and then 3 people came in the year 1900. I'll ask this question when I teach you. Okay, so chalo. Starting with the things. So Mendel proposed what did he do? So he proposed that traits were specified by heritable elements called factors. If I teach you like this, you would never remember. So please let me tell you one very important thing. So ma'am, hair has a color, right? Hair color is there. So that is what? Your hair color which is there, it is nothing but a character. Okay. Now under hair color, there are different colors. For example, there is black hair, there is brown hair, there is grey hair. So these are different types of what? Hair color. Okay, hair color. So what will I call these things? I will call these things as traits. Always remember in your NCERT character traits is mentioned. Just understand, trait is nothing but a subdivision of character. Okay, for example, skin color is a character, but the colors which are there, they would be known as what? Traits. They would be known as trait. So height, easiest thing. Height is what? A character. Now what would be the trait under this? It will be tall and dwarf. These are the two traits that I can remember. So subdivisions of it is known as traits. Always remember that. Now Mendel said that basically these traits that you see, it is actually not controlled randomly. It's controlled by some important thing which is there on the chromosome, my dear children. So what is this important thing which is there on the chromosome? He was not able to name it properly. He said that the chromosomes which are there, or basically the genetic material, he didn't say chromosome, he said that genetic material which is there, it carries some factors. Some what? Factors. And these factors are responsible for what? For the trait which is there. Now I am going to decode what Mendel actually meant to say. Okay, so with the factor, he meant one very important thing. He said the genetic material has some factors, right? It was not factors, it was actually genes, my dear children. It is actually what? Genes. Genes is what? A segment of the DNA. Your DNA has segments, and each segment, each gene out there basically would be coding for some what? Some protein. And this protein in turn will be responsible for the trait that you are having. Suppose I want to give you an example. So there is a gene that makes up the protein which helps in the production of growth hormone. Okay, there is a gene over here which makes a protein, which codes for a protein, okay, which gives the message to make the protein. And this protein helps in what? Helps in making up the growth hormone. So in this person's body, since this gene is there, the growth hormone is released. Can I say that this person, if he has enough amount of protein and enough amount of growth protein, this person will be tall? Yes. So can I directly just say, rather than saying all this thing, can I just say genes are the ones that controls what, my dear children? Genes are the ones that controls traits. I'll tell once more. He said, in the genetic material, there are certain factors which controls our trait. Now, I am decoding it and I'm telling you, it's not known as factors. He didn't know the name, he didn't name it. Okay, later on people came in and put the name as genes. So, these things that you see, the segments that you see in the DNA or the genetic material are nothing but genes, and genes basically code for what, my dear children? Proteins. And these proteins helps in all the aspects of our body, helps in what you call, can be acting like enzymes, okay, can be acting like enzymes and making A to B reaction go really fast, or help in some other ways. But anyways, they would be helping in some production of some very important thing which is responsible for all our traits, my dear children. So here I have taken the example of growth hormone. It helps in the production of growth hormone, okay, such that, my dear children, a person who would be having this very good amount of gene out there would be what? Tall in nature. Would be what? Tall in nature. Now, I need you to understand a very important fact, that is, the genes which are there, they are also of different types. Okay, so there can be gene A and there can be gene B. Okay, both coding for what? Both responsible for a character. Suppose this character is height. Both responsible for a character height. Okay, so this particular gene which is there, it is responsible for one trait. This is responsible for another trait. What is a character? Character is height. What is one trait that can be there? It can be tall. Another trait which can be there, it can be what? Dwarf. So ma'am, how is that possible? I am not understanding. So the thing is, probably the gene which is present over here is giving rise to very less amount of protein. It is coding for very less amount of protein. But over here, this particular gene which is there, it is coding for high amount of protein out there. And this high amount of protein is there, high growth hormone will be there, more growth hormone will be there, more growth hormone will be there, the person would be tall. And over here, same thing, protein is less, that means growth hormones are produced less, which is why what will happen, the trait would be coming as dwarf. So what do you call, can a person have both of them together? Can a person have both of them together, my dear children? The answer is yes. But in that case, ma'am, which one will be working, or which one will be able to show its effect more, that one will be working, right? So this is there which produces more protein, this is there which produces less protein. So anyway, we have someone to produce more protein, right? So obviously that feature will be expressed. So this person who has both these chromosomes, my dear children, who has both these genes, what would be the ultimate trait of this person? Ultimate trait of this person would be what? Tall. Why? Because you have a very prominent protein out there, okay, where you have a prominent gene out there. So what do you call two different types of a gene coding for the same character, that is height? What do you call two different type of genes that is coding for same character, that is height? You will call this as allele. You will call this as allele, okay? Now I know this is confusing, this is too much for you to take in. Okay, but please remember, I am going to make things easy for you. So over here, we studied when you talk about character, the what do you call, when you break them down, you get traits. So suppose it is height, then your traits can be tall or dwarf. Similarly, when you talk about genes, genes can be of genes that codes for a character can be of two types. Either it can code for T or it can code for the dwarf type, that is signified by small t. So here, this is an allele of this gene, this is another allele subtype of this particular gene itself. So you call these things as what? Alleles. So alleles are what? The ones that codes for the same character but different traits. Alleles are the ones that code for, both of them are coding for height only, but different traits in this, that is, one is coding for tall, another one is coding for dwarf, my dear children. So in our body, we have chromosomes, and all the chromosomes are found in two pairs like this. Okay, sorry, not two pairs, it is found in a pair like this, one chromosome here, another chromosome here. So on this chromosome, if this particular gene is there which is coding for height, here also you will have a gene which codes for height. What height? We do not know. So suppose this is a condition where you have an allele which is producing more protein, and that is leading to tallness, my dear children, and there is another allele which is leading to less protein, which is causing what? Dwarfness, and the one character that is expressed is just tall. The one trait that is expressed is just tall. I would say that this allele that you see is dominant over the another allele which is there. So what is it? This allele that you see, allele A, is dominant over allele B. Dominant over allele V. Why? Because it is able to produce. Now rather than using A and B, we would actually use the things which is given in our NCERT. So for tall, we will say that capital T is used. For tall, the capital T letter is used. For dwarf, the small t version of it is used. So the one which is dominant, you give capital letters to it. The one which is recessive, you give small letters to it. Ma'am, how do we know it's dominant or which one is recessive? The one that expresses, that will be dominant. The one that does not express itself would be what? Recessive. That is another thing. Okay. So the one over here which is able to express itself is what? Dominant. And the one which is not able to express itself will be what? Recessive. And it is usually in small letters. Okay, it is usually in small letters. So please take a screenshot of this, because this will go, if at all you want, you can take. Now I am going ahead with one very important thing. Okay, again, this is for you to understand, not for me. So I have, okay, I am telling you one very important thing. Okay, there is an allele, there is another allele. Okay. Both of this allele is there for the shape of the seed. they are responsible for giving the shape of the seed. This is a character, and the character can have different traits. So one trait is, trait 1 is that the shape can be round. The shape of the seed can be what? Round. And trait 2 is what? The shape can be wrinkled. That means it does not have a smooth surface. The surface is like this. This is what? Wrinkled. Now, I am telling you, I'll give this as, I'll make this as capital R and this one as small r. You tell me, when I write like this, which one do you think will be a dominant trait? And which one do you think will be a recessive trait? Tell me, which one would be dominant and which one would be recessive if I am writing like this? What would be your answer? Okay, so over here I am saying, the seed's shape is round. The seed's shape is round. One allele is coding for capital R, that is trait 1, and the another allele is coding for small r, and the seed shape is round. That means what is dominant? This is dominant, which is why I have put it in capital letter. So this might be able to produce more amount of proteins, might be able to do more amount of work out there. So this one is the dominant one, and this one that you see would be, my dear children, the recessive one. So ma'am, so in this case, every time if this is the case, then obviously it will be always round, no? The seed shape should be always round. But the problem is, it's not always like this. There can be. So where do you get this chromosome? Let me question that first. Put that question in your head. Where do you get this chromosome from? Do you know that in sexual reproduction, you have gametes being formed, sperm, egg, right? Sperm and egg. The sperm carries half of the chromosome, egg carries another half of the chromosome. We studied, no? In human reproduction, we studied. Tell me, okay, this is homework number 2. Homework number 1 I gave you. Tell me the portions, okay, that is going to come. Now you have to tell me that. Now homework number 2 which is there is that, what is that division that only gametes undergo? So gametes which are being formed, sperm and eggs, to make sperm and eggs, there is a division that it undergoes. What is the name of that division? Tell me. Anyways, it is known as reductional division also. It reduces the number of chromosomes, just of half from the mother and half from the father. So basically, this half comes from the father, another halves would be coming from the mother. Or probably this could be coming from the father, another half could be coming from the mother. But that is how it usually comes. So both the chromosomes that will be coming would be having genes or basically alleles coding for a character. Character is what? Shape. Character is what? Shape. Okay. Alleles coding for a character at the same location. You call this as locus. What do you call this? This location which is known as locus. Okay. I hope that is clear. Okay, was I teaching something else? So this is how it usually happens. So if at all from one parent which is there, yeah, I was talking that how do you get wrinkled seed? That was the thing, no? So over here, suppose this parent was there, his parent had a pair of chromosome, both capital R, and over here another parent had what do you call, 2 chromosome, one is small r, other one is also small r. So from here, one thing comes in over here. Sperm here also only half can come, no? So this comes over here. So here you have capital R and here you have small r. But if the situation is something else, for example, over here suppose the parent had one capital R and another small r, and over here again, over here both of them were small r. In that case, what will happen, my dear children? If this one is coming, if this half is coming, what will happen? This would be small r. And if this is also coming, my dear children, there only half r can come. Okay. So anyway, both of them will be small r. And when both of them are small r, my dear children, what will be the character? It will be wrinkled. That's the only time it can show off its character, that is wrinkled character. So recessive alleles, my dear children, remember, recessive alleles will only show their character if they are in this condition, if they come in this particular condition out there. Cool. And what do you call this condition? You call this as, what do you call this? You call this as homozygous condition. Okay, you call this as homozygous condition. Cool. Now, hetero. What do you mean by heterozygous condition? When it is, one is capital R, another one is small r, or you call homogametic condition, that would be much better. So both the gametes which are there, they're coming together and both of them have same thing. So this is known as homogametic condition. And over here, suppose capital R is there, another one is small r, you call this hetero. Okay, you call this heterozygous condition, but I will be talking about more about it later, because there is difference between zygous and gametic. I will be talking in the next session, but anyways, I hope you understand. So if at all this allele, capital R allele is there, then there is no chance for this guy to express itself. If at all you have a dominant allele, only the dominant character will be there, that will be what? Round. Suppose the condition is like this, both of them are capital, it will be double round. No, there is not, that is not like that. Okay, so over here itself, it will be round itself, so the dominant character can easily display. If you want the recessive character to display, what should happen? The recessive alleles should come together, then only the recessive character would be displaying itself. I hope that is clear. So the basic things, I hope it's clear. It's not too difficult as you think. Now when I show you some things, okay, you would be able to understand it better. So over here, Mendel proposed that traits were specified by heritable elements called factors. So traits which are there, it is, what do you call? It is specified by, or it is expressed with the help of what? Factors. Factors are nothing but genes. But according to him, he didn't put the word genes, so please you also do not put. You just say that, Mendel said that there were factors responsible for specific traits. Now factors come in different versions. The genes which are there, they come in different versions, or what do you call them? Alleles. So alternative forms of a factor are known as alleles. Again, so confusing, no? So alternating forms of the gene which is there, a gene that produces more protein will be known as allele A. The gene that produces less protein will be known as allele B, in that sense. So you have two alleles. So alleles are of two types. One will be dominant allele and the other one will be recessive allele, capital T, small t. Okay, dominant being expressed over the recessive allele. Recessive alleles are only expressed when no dominant allele is present. Whenever you do not have any dominant allele up there, then only the recessive condition would be coming up. So this is the chromosome. Okay, height is coded by genes, and genes, my dear children, would be having multiple alleles, different type of alleles. Either you can have the same allele here and there, capital T, or you can have a condition like this, capital T, small t. In this case, it will be tall because you have at least one dominant character. If it is small t, it will be what? Dwarf. It will be dwarf. There is no one to dominate. I hope that's clear. Now, in most sexually reproducing organism, each individual has two alleles for each gene. For each gene that you see, my dear children, you will at least have two alleles. You will at least have two alleles. That's what Mendel said. Okay, so over here for height, as we saw, capital T, small t. This is the two alleles that we know. The pair of alleles or the genetic representation is called as a genotype. So over here, when I say that this is the pair of allele, that is capital T, small t. Or in this condition where it is small t, what is the genotype? What is the genetic makeup? It would be small t, small t. Okay, now suppose it is like this, capital T, what will be the genotype? I am asking about the genetic makeup. Genotype, genetic makeup. It is again capital T. This is the genotype. This would be the genotype. Now, the character that it is going to show, or the trait that is going to be shown up, my dear children, okay, the physical appearance that it shows, what do you call that as? You call that as phenotype. So tell me the phenotype of this. What is the trait that is going to be shown? The dominant one. And what is dominant? Tallness. So this would be, this plant which would be having this would be what? Tall. Over here, both alleles are there. Okay, both of them are what you call recessive alleles. What is the trait that they show, my dear children? When both of them come together, the phenotype will be dwarf. The physical appearance of the plant will be what? Dwarf. Over here, what is the condition? Capital T. Okay, there is only dominant alleles. In this condition, what would be the phenotype? It would be tall, because there is nothing else, right? It would be tall. So genotype is genetic makeup. Phenotype, P. P for what? Physical appearance. P for physical appearance. Okay, genotype for genetic makeup. So genetic makeup is this, that you cannot see. You cannot see any genetic makeup. Can you tell me what's the genetic makeup of my chromosomes out there? You cannot see that. You can see the physical appearance, how I look. That's the only thing that you can say. Now, I am giving you a homework question out there. Okay, And your homework question. This is homework question number 3. This is a very serious homework with which I will understand whether you have understood things or not. So my dear children, I am giving you 3 scenarios. Okay. Over here I am saying capital V stands for violet, small v stands for white. Capital V stands for violet, small v stands for white. Now over here the first one that I have is capital V, capital V. The second one that I have is capital V, small v, okay, small v. The last one that I have is small v, small v. This is second condition, this is third. So how do you answer me this question? Homework number 3. First condition, genotype is this, phenotype is this. Tell me the genotype of this and also the phenotype of this. Now 2, genotype, you don't have to write G, genotype full, just write G, that will be enough. And phenotype. And 3, this is the genotype and this is the phenotype. In that condition I will understand whether you are understanding what I am trying to tell you. So my dear children, these things that you see, they are alleles. They are what? Alleles, the different types of a gene. Okay? And yeah, that's how it goes. That's all. It's very simple. People try to make it complicated, but I'm telling you it's very simple. And if you're understanding it, what do you have to do? Click on the like button right now, right away. Okay. Now over here I'm giving you different scenarios. So one chromosome in the egg from the female. So one chromosome came from the egg in the female, half of the chromosome, no. So from the mother you had 2 of them, but only one is going to come over here in the egg. In the egg only one will come. So this is the one that comes. So capital T is coming and from here small t is coming. And when you come over here, the capital T small t is known as what? The genotype of the zygote. The zygote which will be formed, the genotype of it will be what? Capital T small t, genetic makeup. And my dear children, since capital T is dominant over small t, the phenotype will be what? Tallness, the one that I already explained you. Okay, I don't think you need more explanation on that. And over here suppose you get capital T, then the genotype is capital T, phenotype will be what? Tallness. If over here it's small t, then small t comes together, the genotype is small t and the phenotype will be what? Dwarfness, the only condition where the what you call recessive allele will be visible or will be shown. Okay. Now there are 2 very important things that are again mentioned in your NCERT, and that is about monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. So what do you mean by that? Okay, you have to study that, right? But you need to know the term. What do you mean by that? So first of all, let me tell you, if you understood until this point, okay, if you think that the method of teaching or the way of teaching is good, what do you have to do? Click on the like button and let me know in the comment section right now. Otherwise, how will I know? Or my dear children, one very important thing apart from this is that if you have doubt, because I genuinely understand when I was in 12th, when I was studying this chapter, my teacher, she was a very good person, but apparently I didn't understand what she was trying to teach, because the teaching skills that were totally different from what was the way I could understand things. You get it? So basically I want you to let me know if you have still doubts up there. I listen to you. Okay, that would not make me a bad person. If you say that, ma'am, I'm not understanding this thing, that does not make me a bad person. You don't have to think like that. Okay, if at all you have a doubt, please ask me, and when I answer that would be the good part of the story. So please ask me if at all you have doubt. If it's all clear, if you have got all your doubts clear, give me a thumbs up. Okay, and if you're excited for the next class, give me a thumbs up and let me know that in the comment section. So monohybrid cross is when, my dear children, you are studying just about one particular character at once. For example, I'm just studying about height. How is the height going? When this and then comes, what will be the height? When this and this comes, what will be the height? Okay, if I'm studying just about one particular character at one particular time, or a pair of contrasting characters, contrasting traits, okay, a pair of contrasting traits, for example, capital T, small t, tall and dwarf. These are both contrasting, tall and dwarf, right? So, whenever I study a character, a single character, I will call this as a monohybrid cross that I am studying about. And now when I am studying about the inheritance pattern of 2 characters at once, for example, I am concerned about the shape of the seed. The shape of the seed along with the color of the seed. The shape can be round or wrinkled. The color of the seed can be yellow or green. I am confused as in how does that inheritance pattern work? I am studying about that. Then it is known as dihybrid cross. Okay, then it will be known as dihybrid cross. There is always more explanation to this. So when we study about monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross in general, I will be telling more about it. But if at all, if you're very curious, you can ask me in the comment section. But I will be teaching you in the next session. This is just for your understanding. So whenever you have two characters at once, okay, shape and color, there are two different characters. That's when we study about that, when we get the hybrids, when we cross the hybrids again, oh my dear children, that's when we call that it's a dihybrid cross. That's the study of it. Okay, I hope that is also clear. Now just give me a second. Okay, so I'm back. So yes, I was just wondering if I should be teaching you the capital T, the homozygous and heterozygous condition. Yes, I'd say that, okay, because I don't want that small thing to be left behind. So over here, listen to me. So whenever you have a condition like this, for example, capital T, okay, both the alleles are same itself. So you call this condition as homozygous condition because the zygote which is there, it has both of the alleles to be the same. Now suppose it is small t. Still can you call it homozygous condition? Yes, you can call it homozygous condition. Why? Because both the alleles are here also same, small t. Now the condition is like this, capital T, small t. What do you call this condition as? What do you call this condition as? You call this condition as heterozygous condition. Hetero because there are two alleles, two different contrasting alleles out there, which is why you call this as heterozygous condition. So both of them are homozygous condition and this is what heterozygous condition. Now I'll twist the story a bit more and I'll tell you. So we can say that plant is heterozygous tall. What do you mean by that? Heterozygous tall means it is tall, but the condition, the genetic makeup is like this. One is capital T, another one is small t. Or I can say that the plant is what? Homozygous tall. In that condition, my dear children, both the alleles would be same. When do you need that? When you want to breed and you want to make sure the progenies or the new baby plants which will be formed, they also should be tall. In that case, you take homozygous plants out there. You would be taking homozygous plants out there. The reason to it, you will definitely know in the next session out there. Okay, but I think I have covered the basics of genetics, which is very much important for you to understand. Rest of it we will study. Okay, so all this thing you might have studied in your 10th grade, I have just revised it. Okay, if at all you think you have more doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. You feel very free to ask to me. Okay, I'm not a strict teacher, I'm telling you again and again. So homozygous condition, heterozygous condition. Sometimes you call homozygous condition as pure breed also. Because what? There is no different contrasting, it is pure. It's pure same thing. Okay, so you call this pure breed also. So pure tall or pure dwarf. Pure tall or pure dwarf, or what do you call pure homozygous tall or homozygous dwarf. Either way, that also works. So that's about it, my dearest champions out there. And now, so I told you Mendel did experiment on P, right? And he actually studied 7 characters. He studied what? 7 characters. Each character had 2 traits. So 7 into 2. How many traits were there? There were 14 traits. How many characters were there? There were 7 characters: seed shape, seed color, flower, flower position, pod shape, pod color, stem height. So this is how it went. So all of them had 2 traits, one dominant and the other one recessive. You have to remember it. It's very important. We will be studying about this only in the next session, monohybrid cross. It will be useful for you if you study it right now. So there is a a way you can remember the dominant traits. So dominant gang graphs. So tall friends gang when to have. So tall is a dominant trait in height. Okay, when to have a round pizza, okay, with yellow cheese out there and violet on onion rings. So tall is a dominant character in height. Okay, you have tall and dwarf. Now round is a dominant character in the seed shape, round and wrinkled. Now yellow is a dominant character in what? The seed color. The seed color which is there, usually we eat green peas, but it is yellow which is dominant. Okay, so yellow cheese and violet onion rings. Violet flowers are the ones which are dominant than white. Okay, so violet flowers which are dominant over here. Now full crust, the pizza has a good amount of full crust as in, so there is pod, you know, the peas are surrounded by a structure like this pod which you open and then you eat it, no? So you call that as a pod. The pod can be full, proper, it looks like this, or it can be dry, constricted, which looks like this. So full crust with green capsicum. Now this green color is for what? The pod color, not the seed color. Seed color, yellow is the one dominant. In pod color, my dear children, we usually pick green color piece right out there. So you can think like that. Green is the one that is dominant. And at green capsicum at the axial position. Now that is kind of difficult to remember. Axial position means you're talking about the flower. Okay, so the flower can be at the tip, at the terminal end, how we used to do in KG, no? This is the flower. But now we do like this also, right? Now we have flowers here. So this is like axial position. This is the terminal position. So whenever we say dominant character in flower position, it's the axial one which is dominant, not this one which is dominant. Okay. So tall friends gang went to have round pizza with yellow cheese and violet onion rings, full crust, and green capsicum at the axial position, as in it was spread everywhere, not just one place. Okay, you can remember that. I know it's difficult to remember, and that's your next homework. Okay, that's a fun homework, and also if you think that this was helpful in some ways, definitely let me know, and please bring out more ideas. Okay, if at all you are someone who is very keen in finding mnemonics and things like that, put it down in the comment section. Let your other friends also know. It will be a really fun session, okay, and it will be very easy for them to understand as well. So my dear children, I won't take it any further. Please give me the answer for all the homework questions that I gave. Please interact with me. Please let me know if you loved the class or not. Okay, that's the only thing I want from you guys. Okay, and please ask me doubts. That's all. Wishing you all the best. Please take care of yourself. Lots and lots of love. Always make me proud. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care and do not worry about your exams. Remember, we are here for you. Okay, we'll cover everything up. Okay, bye-bye.